Uh, Pearl, I will bring this to you. So what are the larger trends? I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of aspirants here that we have. So what are the larger trends that you think, are seeing, and which, I mean, it's not the right way to put it, but, women can look to sort of pick up from a, venture capitalist standpoint where uh, the element of being a woman will get negated, right?
So, in terms of industry segments, where I'll take it in two parts. Industry segments where I personally find women being very creative and very innovative in the way they're coming up with solutions. There is no dearth of intellect and how they're harnessing that. A successful startup would have a balanced co-founding team. A successful startup an entrepreneur will have strong networks, will have good mentors. They would have leveraged mentors at certain stages of building their business or even sounding of their idea. They would have made sure that they have the knowledge and the skill sets to do it, right? So if we were to put this as, and then comes the capital. So if we were to say networks, mentorship, knowledge and skills, and articulation of business plans, and then solid co-founding teams, because it is difficult. I mean, I commend you for what you're doing, but it is difficult as a lone founder because once the VC money comes in, it is difficult. You need to scale the business and make it whatever. I mean, break even is not the point, but you need to bring in the metrics, right, to run the business. So co-founding teams. Now, in this area, when I look at women applications, I'm just going to generalize. There are very smart women out there, and they are the ones who are getting that 2% funding. But I'm saying that if we were to look at, if it has to be 20, 30%, network more. Men seem to latch on to their college buddies, right? And they always know the kind of buddy that they're going to start up with. They're never alone. Network more. We women, I mean, I've been guilty of doing that. Even Avani, when she reached out, I never responded for several days, right? Yeah, but, and he was like, what are you doing? So, but the thing is that women hide away from networking opportunities, not because we don't feel comfortable, but because of the whole multitasking that we do. We are constantly thinking, work, go home, right? Be a good professional, and I need time for my home. It's not about cooking and all, but we just are built that way. And so we skip events, conferences. Most events happen on the weekends. These are root causes, right? Root causes why women don't mingle more. And so the networks become very weak. Mentors are part of the networks. They become weak. So those are missing. She has not bounced off the idea strongly amongst many people. She comes usually as a lone founder or two people, but both in the consumer and marketing side, right? The product and tech, they're going to figure out how to outsource. That doesn't work for scalable tech companies. So I would say, investing in networks, knowledge and there are a lot of forums to learn how to make a B plan. There's no dearth of it. If in case anybody's lost on that, there are a lot of forums, right? But it is these things don't get articulated easily, because honestly, I've never met a woman founder and said, why are you not networking more? But it is evident that she hasn't, it's a concept in her head, and she's passionate about it, and she doesn't know where to get the tech built from. And I'm saying, find a tech co-founder, and she's saying, how do I do that? And I'm saying, you're from an engineering college, so why don't you, hook on? Oh, but I'm not in touch with them for the last 10 years. So, there are those 4 areas: mentorship, skills, networks, and then solid co-founding teams. So I would just say any business which is attracting a women customer base, any business from either shopping or e-commerce, that's all fashion lifestyle, or parenting. I mean, women get education and parenting like men can never get. India has large markets for health, for childcare, for parenting, for e-commerce is booming. And there are so many niches in which they can build brands and take their products to market. So it's not 1 or 2 areas, and even when you see the applications or women building already, you would just find that 70–80% of strong businesses are being built in these areas by women. Sure. But that doesn't mean that, if they build in this area, then it is a bigger chance. It's just that they're more capable. Sure. Right?
Anita, what's your take on this? And Paul, I'm coming to you next.
So, like I said, there are very few women that, come to the network. And largely we see them part of a team, and it could be, it's generic. So, you know, the areas are plenty. So it could be in the tech space, e-commerce. But one trend that we've been noticing of late is healthcare. So health is a big area where you see women taking more interest. So it could be on the product side of health, it could be on the service side of health, and it's also elderly care. Because I think that's a pain point in the country today because of the nuclear families, etc. So elderly care, health care. So mainly I would say I would bucket it in the health area. That's where we are saying, and in fact, I was sharing with Pearl earlier that you know, I go to the IIT Entrepreneurship Summit every year as a jury member. And it's interesting to see now IITs have more women, but very few, you know, come to that business plan competition. And this year as well, we saw women coming more on the health side of tech. So that's very interesting. Right. So there were a couple of women and they were on that side. So e-commerce, of course, women understand shopping. So, you know, that's an area. But we've seen more men coming with e-commerce idea, not so many women.
But Zinnia, coming back to you, yeah, I mean, what's your take on?
So I think the maximum number of you know, women that I've met have come up with ventures which are in the creative field. The one venture that we have recently backed is a design-based venture where the lady is a designer, industrial designer, and so I think that's very natural because women are very creative, and most of the creative fields, you know, they must be really good shoppers, but because of the tech element, I think they're not that forthright in coming up with the technology part of it. But I just want to say here that whoever I've met, even with a really great idea, I think women in general that I've met, they have a habit of making, not thinking very big in that space. They have very good ideas, but they lack that confidence. You know, they could be talking about 25 lakhs revenue in the first year, where you know, people would say it could be 10 times more, 2 crores or something. So I think we, again, comes back to the core problem where I think there's a burden in every woman to prove themselves, that also, you know, women are just trying to prove themselves, and they're always have to fight that battle that with other people, that they're not prioritizing family, kids, that part over work. So I think they should shrug off that, you know, unnecessary burden of proving that and focus on business.
Super. Sairee, you know, Sheroes is you know, clearly very well plugged into the ecosystem. What is it that you're seeing? And
I think we're definitely seeing more women adopt entrepreneurial ambition. More women are turning entrepreneurial than ever before. I do think that somewhere there is an institutional gap of either big funding or no funding. You know, I think if a lot of smaller businesses got some form of credit, easy credit or bankability or overdraft or some other form of capital at a, you know, even at a debt-led equity level or any other formula that we can devise. I think the whole structure of small and business institutional lending that the government has set up is pretty much, it's hard to crack. It's a hard barrier and more oriented towards the traditional manufacturing, the small scale manufacturing. The small scale service entrepreneur, the creative entrepreneur, the lifestyle entrepreneur today either has to sort of do it from scratch and bring it to a level where it becomes large, scalable, sustainable, or you know, live the life and death story every single day of their life. Somewhere I think we need to figure out some institutional mechanisms of backing women with some form of capital, even if it's debt capital, even if it's basic credit facilities. I think it's going to change the story at least to a couple of percentage points.
I was just going to say that just another, you know, friendly advice to the ladies here, that the women I've met, just in my experience over the last 6 to 8 months, you know, when you're meeting a VC, you're not just looking for giving out a shell of stake for money. Be out there and make relationships. These people are going to be there as part of your business for the next, you know, 20, 30 years. And also in terms of mentors, be able, you know, the guys in general are open to changing, change, more flexible in changing their business plans. Women, I think, are so passionate about their idea. They believe in it a lot. That's why they're not as open to tweaking their plans. And that's going to be part of the journey, I think, tweaks. So be open.
So thank you so much. I think you've been a lovely panel. I think our guests here have been able to get a fair perspective. Guys, I'll just sum it up by saying, it's business at the end of the day. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. I think just understand your business well, understand the dynamics around your business. Have a lot more detailing to it. Please don't be on the back foot. Play on the front foot. Go out, talk more. I think that's what the larger sort of panel believes. One of the things that I would want to sort of highlight here that, while they are investors, and all of us want to sort of reach out to them, talk to them, the kind of responsibility which is running, on their shoulders is phenomenal, right? They are taking a lot of these decisions on behalf of a lot of people who put that trust. That money going bad, trust me, that's really bad for the ecosystem at large. And it becomes our responsibility as entrepreneurs to, have that detailing going. So I'll wrap it up at that.